afternoon everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Just sticking some gloves on real quick. We are carrying on today with the Fiesta project. It is cold and the floor is wet, but we're just gonna, like I said in the last video, just gonna have to sort of man up and do it and just not worry about getting cold and wet, because it's only going to get worse from here on out because the winter's going to come. So tackling today, the jobs of today, number one job is to get the rear axle off finally. We were stubbed by that one bolt, the one bolt that rounded off last time, and it completely stopped me in my tracks. I wasn't able to remove the rear axle. I removed everything else that needed to come off, but that one bolt was what stopped us from actually removing it from the car. So that is number one job of today. Let me just grab something. Because of the recommendations of you guys and because of I've seen them before, I went ahead and picked up some of these. These are the Irwin brand bolt grip, and they are essentially what I used last time. I had a cheap set over there somewhere, a cheap set of rounded bolt removers is what they are essentially, but when I hammered the one on that I needed, it completely shattered and I didn't have any other way to get the bolt off. So picked up some of the Irwin ones. These have got the one that I need, which is the 13mm right here. This is the one that should fit on. You can kind of see, I'll get them out of the packet and show you a bit better, but you can see how they work. They sort of, the more you hammer them on and the more you turn, they sort of grip onto the bolt and bite into it, and it doesn't matter if it's round or whatever. That is the whole point in them. This is what they do. Let me just get one out. They're going to go everywhere. I'll just show you this a bit better. This is what it looks like. It's got a hex on the bottom, so you can use a spanner on this piece, or you can use a 3/8 ratchet in there. And then this is the 13mm, which is one we need. You can see in there. If I get closer, there you go. Sort of got like sharp edges and teeth, and it's tapered as well, so it gets smaller as it goes in, and that means that the more you hammer it on, the more it's going to grip. And hopefully this is going to be strong enough to remove that bolt today. I'm hoping that this is not going to snap like the old one did. I don't think it will. From what you guys have said and from what I've heard, these Irwin ones are supposed to be pretty strong. I don't know what they're made out of, but they're made in the USA, and stuff like that is usually pretty good. So that is number one job of today, to get that bolt out. After that, the only real things I've got on my mind that I want to do today is I want to take out the interior. I'm going to take the two front seats out, the rear seats, and if I can, the center console, and then the carpet. I don't know if you need to remove anything else to get the carpet out, but I really want to take the carpet out so that I can look at the floor pan itself and just see if there's any rust that needs, likely there is going to be rust that needs repairing. I just kind of trying to pinpoint as much rust as I can so that I can get it all fixed in one lot. So I'm just trying to strip the car down as much as possible so that I can find all those places, get someone to come weld them, and then we can start obviously rebuilding from there. So that's enough waffling. Let's go ahead and see if this thing is going to take out the bolt on our rear axle. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Let's get started. Right, so this right here was the bolt in question. As you can see, nicely rounded off. There you go. It's going to be alright, but I guess quite tight as well. These things are Loctited in as well, so it's not like it's, you know, easy to come out anyway. But the added issue with it being rounded is not very fun. Let's see what we can do with this. Hopefully we'll get this out. I'll try and set the camera up to show you. Now, you lot wonder why I haven't filmed very much recently, and because my uploads have been a bit scarce. You probably can't even see it, but it's tipping it down. Why does it always do this as soon as I try and record? Ah, annoying. Right, here we go. Wish me luck. I'm going to hammer it on first. Ready? God, it's tight. It's grabbing. It's tight. Has it got it? Yes. There we go. Ta-da! The Irwin bolt grips managed to do the job. Check that out. There's not even a mark on that thing. You can see on the bolt head where it grabbed on. You see the shiny bits? That's where that tool would have grabbed in and just bitten down. That worked a treat, that did, didn't it? Right, so with that one stubborn bolt out on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and use the draper and just whip off the rest. I'm going to leave one in either side, get it ready to be dropped. The jack is under there at the moment, ready to collect it whenever it decides to fall. But it's just going to be a case of wiggling it out. You saw me take the struts off and everything else that was attached to this. It is literally just these bolts now holding it in. So we could drop the axle out and then slide out the back. Okay, so that is all 4 bolts. It didn't move much, but all 4 bolts are out on either side. So we should be able to drop her down now. Any luck? I think it's just balancing on this jack, to be honest. There she goes. Right, she's down. Well, I think as axle removals go, that was actually a pretty civilised way of taking this out, to be honest. Didn't drop on the floor or anything like that. It actually came out quite nicely and quite tamely. This is where it mounted to the car. You can see these are the locator pins, so you can't really get it in the wrong place when you put it back in, because that's where it locates. Alright, so next up on the agenda is removing this interior. I want to take the front seats out, like I said, the rear seats, the centre console is going to have to come out as well because the carpet goes under that, and then I want to take the carpet out as well because that will give me a good view of the floor pan, because I've seen videos and I've seen pictures of people with these cars, and the along here they get like big holes of rust. It's quite common supposedly, so I want to check under here and just make sure that there's nothing in there that is drastic. If there's any surface rust, obviously I'll treat that, but if there is anything that needs immediate attention, then obviously I can get that done. These seats are only held in by like a few 10 mils, I think, if you just pull these up. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, there you go. You can just about see it in there. I think there's 4 10 mils, one in each corner, and these seats will pop out, and there's an electrical connector as well under here. So I'll take these out. I don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'm going to have to find a home for them for now. I've got a bit of mould on them as well, so I'm going to clean these up as well once they're ready to go back in. Should just pop out, I think. There we go. I think this is for the airbag, something, or the seatbelt retention. There we go. There we go, there's one. I apologise, you can't really see very much at the minute. It's kind of dark. Right, well, I've got all the bolts out, I think, apart from one of them seems a little bit stuck. We got it. Ta-da! Just found one of my 10 mil spanners that I lost a while ago. Right, okay, so I've managed to remove both seats, as you can see. I've just stuck them in the back for now because I just want to peel the carpet up. And then once I've checked all the front and made sure that's all alright, I'm just going to go ahead and do under the back seats. I don't think that's usually a problem area. I think the problem area is more in the front pans and sort of around this area, so that's my main concern. I'm already a tiny bit concerned. This is where the seat would bolt in, and there's already a bunch of rust there that I can see, which is not great. But that's the whole point in doing this. I'm going to go ahead and remove the center console, which is just a couple of screws. I'm also going to remove this trim that goes along the doors here. I think it's just a bunch of screws that hold it in. So that's going to come off. That's going to come off, and then we should hopefully be able to just peel this carpet back and just give it a good inspection under there. So that's next on the agenda. One thing I love about these older cars is they're literally just like held together with pretty much wood screws, and just a couple of them as well. Nothing fancy on these at all. I
means they're nice and easy to take apart, which is always good. Just in case you are doing this yourself and you want to know, there is a secret screw that lives in this compartment. This little thing hides it. It's like a little protective mat for the bottom that sits in there, and it's really well disguised. So that's the third screw that needs to come out. Just going to go ahead and remove the gear knob as well, because I need to get the gaiter over it. This was black once upon a time, this gear knob, but the sun has completely discoloured it. You see, it's bronze that side and then black that side. That's how it should have been. But it's only a cheap eBay one, that's probably why. There was a little wire on the back here for the boot release, so I'm going to take that off as well. There we go. These side trims are just held in by these little plastic clips. They're just like push clips. They just push straight in. Just using a little pick to pull them out. It's the best way to get them out. Just 3 of them, I think. Right, so I think I've got everything removed in order to get the carp up, so that's what I'm now going to do. I'm going to try and peel it up and get as much of it up as I can and just push it to the back of the car, and we'll have a look and see what's underneath.
So I think I should have expected this. This is the whole reason I'm doing this. But it's actually worse than I thought it was going to be. I've had a little peek under there without showing you. The carpet is up. I showed you. I just pulled that up. Underneath that is obviously the underlay and like the like a bit of sound deadening and stuff. And under that is some holes, a lot of rust, and I've only checked one side so far. I've only checked the passenger side, and it ain't pretty. It really is not pretty. I'm sure there's worse cars, but I honestly don't know how this is going to be fixed or if it's even worth it. I'll show you, and any of you that are good with body work will be able to tell me if this is worth saving or not. Obviously I can't do the work myself, so the work's going to have to be brought in, or someone has to bring someone in to do it. If any of you want to help and any of you are good at welding, please let me know, because this is definitely worse than I thought. So first things first, this is like the underlay underneath the carpet. Right here, can you see that? There's a hole straight through to the floor. You can see the ground straight through that. So that's one hole. There's also a little bit of rust along here. There's a bit of bubbly rust here. That's quite solid still, but still rust is rust. And if we make our way along where the sill is, here is where it starts to get pretty damn ugly. This carpet is damp as well, which is definitely not helping the situation. Let me get my torch. Right, well here we go. Here's the nasties. That, my friends, is some pretty bad rust. I can see the floor through there. It's all flaky, as you can see. I can see the ground through there. You can probably see my hand underneath, see it? So you can see the floor through that. This bit is all flaky. This sill here
is almost completely shot. This is actually the sill under the car, and as you can see, it's just crumbly mess, and it goes sort of all the way to here. This bit's all weak. You could put a screwdriver through that quite easily. You can see how loose all this is. And there's also, if you go even further, there's a bubble there coming up, and there's more. Another hole here where my finger is. Put your finger straight through that. Look, can't really see it. There you go. Another hole. And I can't get to under this bit at the minute, but I'm sure there's more. Yeah, there is more rust. This bit though is so ugly. Look at that. That is horrendous. I'm not happy about finding that. Not happy at all. I think I'm gonna go have to check the other side. The rest of it looks good. All under here looks absolutely fine. There's like zero rust, in fact, under all this bit, but this is the area right here that seems to rot out along the sill. All the way along here is the worst part. Ah, I'm so gutted that I found that. So gutted. Right, let's check the other side. Right, so I genuinely haven't even looked on this side yet. This is going to be my first time reaction along with you. I'm expecting the same, or if not worse, but it's not so bad here actually. It's a tiny bit of surface rust right there. It's a tiny bit right here, but that's just, again, just surface rust. You could treat that quite easily. Another little bit of surface rust just there, no holes though. What about under this matting? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Why is it so wet in here? This carpet is all wet, it's like seeping through, see that? Ah. Oh Jesus. Well, it's the same if not worse. Actually, yeah, it is worse. Look at this state of all this. That is vile. A whole floor pan here needs to be cut out. This whole section. The sill needs to be replaced. Oh, blimey. There you go. I'm gutted. Absolutely gutted. So wet under here. So absolutely sodden. Look. Where does that come from? Oh, that's horrible. Right, so fast forward about an hour or two, I've actually stripped out the whole interior on the Fiesta. After I found the rust in the front, I kind of wanted to continue that process and figure out how much rust there was, just to give me a good idea as to whether it's actually worth continuing on with this. I didn't want to do the front and then find out that there's a bunch in the back as well, so I wanted to see the whole floor pan front to back. And it's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as how it looks. Having not done any welding before, this actually does look really bad to me, but to someone that's done welding before this and like has welded a car up, this is probably not actually that bad. This is probably doable. The rest of the car is actually pretty good. The boot itself, not a spot of rust, apart from right here where the latch is. You can see that needs like a new little piece put in there, but not too much. That's the only piece there. A couple of little bits of surface rust just here and here, which will probably be cut out as well. But the rest of the car is not that bad up until you get to obviously the front section, and that's where things start to go downhill. This right here is the passenger side like rear section of the front, so the seat would sit about here usually, the passenger seat, and we've got a hole here. I've just been hammering at this with a pick, and I've got a big screwdriver over there as well, which I've been sort of hitting in weak areas, and just trying to see how much rust there really is. We've got a hole there. I've got a hole here, a hole here, and then obviously the really bad bit at the front, hole all the way up there. And we've even got some holes in the front here. There's a hole here, and another hole here. So that is about the extent of the passenger side. It's pretty bad, to be honest, but it's not awful, not the end of the world. The worst side, in my opinion, is the driver's side. We've got a hole here, near about where the seat belt gets mounted to, so that's going to have to be dealt with. There's one here. There's a little bit of surface rust here. There's a hole all here, which I've picked through. And then we've obviously got the really awful section here on the driver's side front footwell. That hole there is actually supposed to be there. That's like, I think that's like a water escape or something. That's actually supposed to be there, that hole. There's obviously meant to be a piece of metal above that though, which is what this was right here. Got a hole here. Obviously we've got a big old hole along the sill. And then we've got a few bits and pieces up the front as well. Up to about here, it's actually okay. There's no more that way. It's all from here downwards to here. Again, looks awful, but I don't think it's as bad as how it looks. I think it's rust always looks worse than what it is. I think once that would be cut out, you could probably weld a piece in there quite easily, or someone capable could probably weld something in there quite easily, like a piece of plate or whatever. So there you go. That's about as much as I've found. I can't really see anywhere else. Everywhere else looks actually pretty solid, but that's in here. I haven't actually checked underneath yet. There might be a different story underneath. Right, so I think I'm going to end this video there. That's taken me by a little bit surprise. I'm going to have to process that a little bit. What I'm going to do, the plan of action, I'm not going to get too down about it, is I'm going to take a few pictures, send them to a few people that know a bit more about rust and bodywork than I do, see what they think I should do, whether I should even carry on with this project or whether I should call it quits right now before even tackling this. It does look pretty bad, but that's because I don't really have any experience with fixing rust. This could be a pretty easy job for somebody that has the experience and has the knowledge and the ability to fix this. If any of you are fabricators or welders or whatever and you want to come give me a hand with this, I'm obviously willing to pay for your time. So if that's something any of you are interested in, message me or comment down below and let me know, because I don't want to give up on this car, but that has really thrown a spanner in the works, if you ask me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. We did get some work done. We got the rear axle off and we got the seats out, but there you go. It's still yet to be seen whether there's going to be any more videos on the Fiesta. You'll have to wait and see what I decide to do with this thing. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe for future content, and I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully.